Okay, let's dive right in. We're looking at the really intense power one song can have, Simple Minds alive and kicking.
Right. And our mission really is to explore why one listener felt this was the true anthem of 1985.
Yeah, not the big hit everyone remembers from The Breakfast Club, Don't You Forget About Me, but this one, sort of its forgotten stepchild.
Exactly. And the source material we have is pretty specific. It highlights the musical elements, the airy synths, those atmospheric guitars.
And Jim Kerr's vocals, right, big soaring vocals.
Totally. The source says they take you to another realm, a whole stratosphere of creative landscape. It wasn't just a pop song to this person.
No, it was like a vehicle. And the source paints this picture of the listener, Matt Lebell, in his Firebird.
Oh, yeah. Windows rattling, stereo absolutely blasting.
And he's not just sitting there. He's at a stoplight, awkwardly gyrating, like physically in the music.
And that's the key, isn't it? That total immersion lets him escape.
Yeah.
Mentally disappear.
He wasn't just spacing out. He described this whole other world he visited.
Floating into space, finding a specific galaxy, a planet.
Get this. Populated by purple-skinned people. And they apparently had quiet, kind opinions, loved music.
And the whole planet's vibe was set by its DJ. It sounds, idyllic, but strange.
Definitely strange. And he was very clear. You needed 3 things to get there. An open mind, a particular song, and a loud stereo.
Which, brings up the obvious problem. What happens when reality crashes the party?
Right, because this trance state, this perfection, meant he was ignoring honking cars at the stoplight.
Until the police showed up, lights, sirens, the whole deal.
So wait, this perfect escape requires, ignoring basic traffic safety. That sounds fragile.
Very fragile. And the officer who walked up, he was baffled. Describe Lebell as an empty vessel.
Not struggling, not passed out.
Just lost. That's the word used. The officer actually called for backup because it was so weird.
Wow. So how did he snap out of it?
Only when the officer physically leaned into the car and turned the volume down. That broke the spell.
The sound disruption was the trigger?
Yeah. And then, adding insult to injury, the cop apparently dismisses the music as just Eurotrash.
Ouch. Talk about a reality check. That's the sound of detachment right there.
Totally. So Lebell, probably pre-annoyed, maybe feeling his perfect world was just, trampled on.
He doesn't just drive home. He goes to a Chunky Chicken parking lot.
And restarts the cassette.
Yeah.
Even louder this time.
He needed one more trip into the beyond, as the source puts it.
And apparently he got it. Because he was out for long enough that a Chunky Chicken employee got concerned.
Had to tap on the window.
Yeah. Said Lebell was completely lost there for 15 minutes. And noticed something else.
What's that?
The same song was just playing over and over. Lebell had recorded it back to back a few times on the tape.
Wow. When the employee asked about, maybe listening to something else, Lebell's response is just perfect for this.
What did he say?
Who needs variety when you discover something you love? Sometimes you just want to stay there forever.
That really says it all, doesn't it? The desire to just lock into that perfect feeling.
It really does, which makes the contrast with his editor, Hal Dorsey, so stark.
Right, Dorsey. At the Riverton Anvil, which was apparently failing, Dorsey's presented as this reliable, sturdy guy.
But he published Lebell's strange review of the song right below the piece about Lebell's own passing, sadly.
Yeah, noting Lebell was reliable, but always had his head in the clouds. Acknowledged his death was mourned, but kept that critical distance.
And that distance becomes really clear later. Dorsey actually tried listening to Alive and Kicking himself.
Trying to understand Lebell's obsession, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. But he just found it annoying. Popped the tape right out.
And put in
The Breakfast Club soundtrack, the big, safe hit. Dorsey apparently said, "That's better, Don't You Forget About Me."
Wow. The ultimate rejection of Lebell's private world for the shared popular one.
And there's this final, almost spooky detail. Dorse swore he saw Lebell's reflection in the window, just shaking his head.
Bit of dark humor, maybe, but it perfectly captures that gap, the deep personal immersion versus just, casual listening.
So the whole story really digs into that tension. Lebell's all-consuming connection versus Dorse's detachment. What's the cost of finding that kind of perfection in just one thing?
And the source really hammers this home. It points out that if any of those 3 things, Lebell needed the open mind, the song, the loud stereo got interrupted.
The whole dimension just vanished.
Yeah, it became nothing more than a fragmented hallucination. The magic was incredibly specific. incredibly fragile.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about our own lives?
Absolutely. What piece of art, maybe for you listening, what specific thing needs those perfect conditions to really work its magic?
Right. What needs to be just so for you to access that private world, that escape?
And maybe, more importantly, if one of those conditions gets broken, if reality intrudes, does that whole inner world just crash down, become fragmented?
Something to think about, the conditions that hold your own inner reality together when you connect with art.